So tell me, are you reading any comics that you're particularly enjoying lately?
I mean, so I'm not current, I would say for sure. I the one that I've been reading obsessively, I just read through a lot of Berserk. I kind of burnt out at some point, but I'm going to go back to that. And then uh, Lone Wolf and Cub, I'm obsessed with right now too. So yeah.
I've been meaning to do a reread of Lone Wolf and Cub. I never read the whole thing back in
Hmm.
like the 90s when I had some scattered issues or whatever, but now that they're in those nice fat Dark Horse omnibus,
Yeah.
things, it's really tempting me. Are you getting a lot of inspiration from that or just enjoying the heck out of it?
Well, I mean, there's like story wise, yes. Like but the art is like I can't even fathom. It's sort of like this faster style that still has all the information that you need that like would never fly on an American superhero comic. But like the I think it's one of the best written things I've ever read, like comics or prose or anything. Um, it's just really well done stuff, and it's kind of interesting how it starts out as smaller, shorter stories, and then it starts to build out into these bigger, longer epics. And I don't know. I've always kind of had an affinity for samurai Japan type stuff. I'm very into the Shogun book by Clavel, and then the other. Uh, right now, I'm reading Gaijin. But if you go through that series, there's a lot of that samurai stuff, and then this kind of like scratches that itch as well. So, and then I'm a big fan of Vagabond as well, the manga that is a billion volumes with you know just all kinds of samurai stuff in it. The number one thing that I'm most excited about right now is that damn uh, Batman Year One Artist Edition, which is just glorious. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't stop looking at it. Whenever I take a break from work, I just go sit in the chair and flip through it a little more.
I mean, how can you not? If someone doesn't appreciate Mazzucchelli's artwork, then they don't know what good comics are, right?
Right. And I also bought that absolute edition of it with the two different versions where it's printed on different paper. Like I've probably bought that book in like 10 different forms now, but this one might be the best one. Yeah, I can't stop buying those things. I buy all of them. They're they're really inspiring, and they're kind of like sometimes I can get tweaked out by reading art by really great comic book artists, but these for some reason they kind of like wash over me in a different way where they don't make me nervous about my work anymore. I'm just enjoying it like a fan would.
When you're looking at artwork that closely in all that high res detail, does it teach you things about art or is it just more of appreciation?
Almost without fail, I would say I'm always impressed with how much less detail there is than I thought there was. Because when it shrinks down, it's like every inch feels like it's covered in stuff, but it's never the case. It's the same way when I look through portfolios at conventions. I'm always like, I thought there would be more lines than this. Uh, and so it definitely makes me realize that maybe I probably use too many lines. But that's what part of my work is the little fussiness of it. So I'm not going to complain too much. But yeah, I will say though the one who doesn't fit that is Arthur Adams. When you see his stuff in real life, you're like, that is some next level insanity. But like, yeah, like the Mazzucchelli one here, and the same with the Born Again, which was my other favorite. Those are probably my two favorite artist editions. Um, and he does this thing that it's like a magic trick where like the drawing is very loose and unfigured out at where he doesn't want your eye to focus, and then he gets in when he wants you to focus and gets it into detail. And that's what I just can't even wrap my head around is how you can even be that sort of in control of your craft to be able to decide here um, I'm going to like for me everything that I draw it's similar, it's not like I'm like Arthur Adams, but I definitely do it the same way where everything has the same, very high level of detail. Whereas, somebody like Mazzucchelli is kind of like choosing where the detail goes. And I can't even fathom it. Yeah. I don't have the attention for it.
So you're just gonna just draw everything equally and hope and let the reader figure it out, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a. I don't know that I've ever paid attention to that
Hmm.
in comics, and now I think I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm certainly gonna have to go pick up Year One off my shelf and take a closer look.
Well, I would say that it's much more clear when you're looking at the large, scale art because like that Born Again, I mean, he's doing this thing throughout the entire thing where, this the figure will be there and that'll be drawn beautifully. And then as it gets to the edges, or even to their shoes, they get less detailed. And then the edges of the panel, the they get real loose, and it's just like, yeah, it's just really cool.
Is there anything else that you've read recently, or that you're looking forward to reading, or?
Oh yeah, well, the moon is following us. Have you heard of this one with Daniel Warren Johnson writing with Riley Rossmo and art?
Oh yes, I mean I'm very excited about it.
Um, that one, I know I did get a chance to read the first issue. I did a cover for it, so they sent me the PDF, and it's really good, and I'm really excited for that to read the rest of it, and for everybody else to get a chance to read it because I think it's going to be a rousing success. But I'm good friends with Riley and Dan, and I think Dan's a bit of a um, I think he's trying to break Riley. Like the amount of stuff that Riley has to draw on every page is incredible, but the fact that Riley does it with such you know with such deftness is really impressive. And then it's just a really cool book, and it's a really cool concept with the way that they're handling it. Like Dan's doing some of the panels, and Riley's doing most of them, um, and it's just really good.
I think for my money, Daniel Warren Johnson is the best writer of comics working in the industry right now. Like or at
Really.
least I should say the most exciting
Hmm.
because he's bringing something to the table that I guess maybe I haven't felt for a while, or and it's an originality and
Hmm.
an interesting stories and different stories. Like even his work on Transformers, right? Yeah, it's this toy property from the 80s, but the way he's writing it, it feels like something entirely new, and
Hmm.
there's depth, and there's characterization, and there's emotion, and that you shouldn't be in a Transformers. Like who knew that Transformers were capable of being that, impactful? and
Yeah.
and then his original stuff is just it's amazing. So
Yeah, he's a very singular creator, and he's also one of the more frustrating because, like I said, like we have a group that we talk while we work, and um, he's also incredibly fast at drawing. So he's just like doing all this stuff that while he'll have done 2 pages while I've done like a panel, so. Um, he's kind of got he's got it all going. Like I'm starting to get into writing comics more. I mean, I've done it in the past, but I'm gonna start doing more of it. And just it's pretty cool. His career is definitely one to aim for.
let's talk about writing comics.
Hmm.
You have a new project coming up. Why don't you
Oh
tell us
yeah.
about that?
So it's called The Missionary. It's from Distillery. It is a really insane ride. If you've seen the preview pages, you already, probably have a pretty good idea of the insanity that it is. But yeah, it's just a story that I was working out. Like I've always got a couple that I'm trying to crack, and this one kind of came together, and I had like on Vanish, I ended up writing some of that, and once I had to do that, like it was almost like it forced me because I've always, toyed with the idea of writing, and like I said, like I wrote some of Spider-Man: Renew Your Vows and stuff like that. Um, so I just had to do it on Vanish, and then I was like, you know what, I should keep this going. I should not like take time off from it again. I should just keep stuff happening, and in the interim between Vanish and X-Men, I was writing and drawing something for Marvel that then we had to pause because there was a lot of product in that same vein that we kind of wanted to wait for me to do it when there was like less of a log jam of that stuff. So then once I stopped writing that and I agreed to draw X-Men, I was like, well, I'm still not going to stop writing. So I went over to and pitched this idea to Distillery, and uh, got the ball moving, and now we've got issue 1 coming out next month.
That's exciting. Does it have a specific day next month?
September. I don't know.
Yeah.
I should know, but the FOC already passed, so it'll be at your stores in September, maybe like the 19th or something like that.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to be checking it out. And of course, you're drawing X-Men right now, which is beautiful, by the way, I must say.
Thank you.
I have read issue 1 and issue 2 sitting right here on my to-read pile. So that'll happen probably tomorrow.
Yeah, just in time to have to read issue 3 on Wednesday.
Is it already out this Wednesday?
Well, it's shipping 18 times, so yeah, it's 2 weeks after issue 2, and then I think there'll be another month for issue 4. Then,
Man, I thought
whatever
issue
their
2
schedule
just
is.
came out last week. What the heck? It's like
I know.
I can't keep up, man.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's a crazy schedule. I mean, I'm not going to be able to draw all of it, obviously, because of that. But it is it's wild how fast they put them out now.
Are you having fun
Oh
working on
yeah,
an X-Men comic?
yeah. I mean, it's one of the more challenging books that you can possibly draw, just because there's a lot of characters on all the pages. Not all the pages, but like in general, you get these pages where you're just like, oh my god, how do I compose this? But I feel like as I'm going through and doing it more and more, I'm getting better and faster at it, and kind of like I have an idea of how it all should work and how long everything should take me. So like I definitely at the beginning I was struggling. Because the pages weren't done in the same amount of time that they're usually done, like where you're like, I swear this should be finished, uh, but now I've started to get to a point where I know how long they should take, and it's yeah, it's starting to flow a lot better.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to reading a lot more. Seeing your artwork in as many issues as we possibly can get our hands on, and I wish you the best of luck on your Distillery project. It's
Thank you.
I'm not a creator, right? But I got to imagine that it feels really good to be able to tell the story that you want to tell, whether it's just writing or writing and drawing. That's got to feel really good.
Yeah, it's interesting to have created something from the ground up. Like I said, so that I did the um, renew your vows, but that's established. That's stuff that already exists, And then wrote some Vanish, but Donnie and I kind of worked out what that was beforehand. So to create something from the ground up is pretty crazy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that everything you just keep following your dreams.
We'll just keep doing more.
Yeah.
Something will hit.
Sooner or later, people will know your name. Is that?
Yeah.